Hi, what's your name?
Wyatt Sharpe.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm 16, so I'm in school, but I have a television show that airs in Canada called Forum Focus, and then I have a podcast as well.
Okay, I have some questions for you. Are you ready?
You bet.
What do you think Gen Alpha is growing up with that no generation before had to face?
I think obviously the rise of social media is a big one, and we talk about it in the context of how some people have benefited from it. In particular, it's allowed us to be connected to kind of the digital world and get access to information really quickly. There's obviously the negative side to that as well with respect to political participation and how people sometimes assume that any type of participation equates to informed deliberation and informed engagement within politics. And obviously with the rise of political polarization, we're seeing how that's not always the case. So I think young people are kind of trying to navigate this challenge of how to be involved in politics in a responsible way that equates to informed engagement and not necessarily just shouting back and forth at one another.
How do you think Gen Alpha will define truth in a time of misinformation and social media?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of relates back to what I was saying. I think in particular right now people are kind of getting content based off of their algorithms and not necessarily as much based off of like what's actually factual and what's actually accurate. So if you look to, for example, what Australia's done, they've taken it to one extreme. Same with Denmark, they've banned social media entirely for those under the age of 16. What I've been advocating for is kind of more informed regulation of some of these platforms so young people aren't exposed to kind of the toxic nature of some of the algorithms, but they can still go on social media and look up what they want to look up because a lot of what I do and a lot of my platforms wouldn't have been possible if not for social media. So certainly recognizing the value of that, while again also recognizing that misinformation is a pretty big part of this, and you have to kind of just make sure that you tie it all together and don't let kind of the internet keyboard warriors overtake you.
Yeah, that's great. And I have one more question for you. If Gen Alpha was watching this interview, what's one sentence you would say directly to them?
I would say don't underestimate the value of persistence and of strength, and just really making sure that you kind of push forward for what you want because, in my case, my show or my podcast wouldn't have been possible if not for some of those values.
Thank you for being on the Do You Ever Think About It podcast.